GIC 2017, ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the floor. It's the third day, and now we are at an emerging copper producer, ISR copper producer here. With me is Excelsior, and Stephen Twyerould, the president and CEO, wants to give us an insight into his terrific company. Stephen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Yes.
I had the chance to meet your company in January. I was very impressed, honestly, and great that we can talk about. Maybe you can give us a short overview what the company is doing.
Sure, absolutely. So we got this copper project. It's in Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix. Project's in southeast Arizona. We've been working on it for about 5 or 6 years. Through all the stages of development, we probably put overall maybe 50 million into this thing, and we're about 12 to 18 months away from production. So that's the exciting bit.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
12 to 18 months away, that implies to me you need maybe 1 or 2 more permits. Do you have the money in the bank?
Yeah, so we have about 10 million in the bank now. These are US dollars.
Yeah.
So, you know, if nothing changed, that's good for sort of mid to late next year. But we expect to be in that permitting. We've filed our permits a year ago. We expect to be in that sort of public review process, you know, in 2 or 3, 4 months. So
okay, that's fast.
We would like to have our permits in hand sort of July, August, that time, and then go into construction shortly after that.
Exactly, that would be my next question.
Yeah.
How long would be construction? Because you're doing ISR, in situ recovery copper.
Yes.
What does that mean? I know it from uranium. Is it like the same process?
You know, it's very similar to uranium. That mining method is very well known in uranium, and we basically pick up that mining method and put it on top of our copper ore body. And so to get started, it's really drilling some wells, connecting the wells to pipes, power, pumping it up to our existing plant, because we have a plant already, and then turn the power on that, and we're producing cathode. So it's very quick startup.
Wow, that's sensational.
No,
okay, that
quick.
sounds like an easy process. And you have, what the wastewater is like normal water, you can reuse it, right?
Yeah, so we recycle all of that water. So when we're moving the solution in and out of the rock, very low water consumption overall. Basically what we put in the ground, we have to take out of the ground, and that's got the copper in it, so we want that. And then we take the copper out of the solution, put fresh acid in, and we go back in again. And it's a very weak acid concentration.
So it's like a closed circle.
Closed circuit, more or less closed circuit.
That's also, I would say cost effective. Let's talk about the cost. Where do you see the all-in cost? I mean, copper today is $2.62 this morning per pound. What is your all-in cost? What do you estimate?
So about $1.20, $1.30 a pound, all in.
Wow.
All sustaining, all
That's
operating,
sensational.
everything.
Wow, that's 120% margin.
I know, it's huge.
Amazing. Fantastic.
Yeah.
How many pounds, or let's call it tons, you think is your capacity per year?
So when we start, we're starting quite small at about 12,000 tonne per annum. After a few years, when we've got everything running beautifully, everything's working well, we'll expand that to about sort of 30 tons per year, and then a few years after that we'll expand again to about 60 to 65,000 tons of cathode per year.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a good operation.
And I presume you can pay that out of the cash flow?
Some of it we'll do out of cash flow, and some of it we'll do out of debt. It'll all depend on market conditions as well.
Okay, great. Where do you estimate the life of mine, I would call it? I mean, now we saw you start 12,000 tons, you want to go to 50 to 65,000, but what could be a realistic life of mine by now with the knowledge you have now?
About 25 years.
That's a long term.
25 years. Yeah.
Super. That's fantastic. Do you have any byproducts?
No, it's
pure copper.
Pure copper cathode. Yeah, pure metal. 99.999% pure copper.
Okay, great. How many shares do you have outstanding?
167 million shares outstanding.
Yeah. What's management share?
Well, we're about sort of 8% total.
Okay. Any larger shareholders, like funds we know?
We do. I don't know if you know them, but there's a PE group out of London. They're called Greenstone Resources. They own about 50% of the stock. Oh. They've invested, their first investment was 2014, and then they've done 2 previous investments of sort of 10 million approximately US each. So really good guys, technical, good supporters,
And I suppose they want to see maybe as a dividend then later on.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got to get into production first, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, but this will be a cash-spitting machine. Sorry to say that, but it looks to me like an ATM, honestly.
That's it.
And so you can consider dividends for the future?
Absolutely.
Super.
And also, you know, there's all sorts of things we can do with cash and look at expansion, look at other assets, growing the company. You know, it's all on the cards.
Super.
But
Fantastic.
our focus now, production.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Super. Great. Focus production, last question. What are the next steps? You said the permitting is the next last hurdle, I would call it, and then the construction.
Correct.
You have already some pre-leading items you have already ordered, or how does it work?
Okay, so...
I mean, you have a plant, you said, yeah?
We do. We already have a plant. You know, we need about 70 million total. About 40 of that is just physical construction of wells and equipment. About 20 of that is working capital, and then about 10 million of that is just a buffer.
Okay, that's always good to have.
So,
that's right.
So that's about 70 million.
Yeah, and that's already organized?
No,
the
we don't have
project
that
finance?
yet. We don't have the project finance yet.
I see.
So we have about 10 million in the bank now. So we're good for, you know, right through till sort of mid to late next year. So we get the permits. We're working on project finance now. So the project finance will be a combination of debt and equity.
Yeah.
The private equity group will probably be good for their pro rata share, so it won't be overly dilutive when we
and I can imagine as you are working then in the States, I could imagine the New York funds are throwing the money at you.
So, you know, it's funny, but we do meet a lot of Europeans as well.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
No,
fantastic. Great. Well, Stephen, then, thank you very much. All the best for that. And we look forward for the update then, and we want to see you start the construction.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. It's good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was Stephen Twyerould, and you heard it, he's the president and CEO of Excelsior Mining, and the company will go in production. That's the last permit is expected for June, July. 10 million in the bank. The all-in cost will be around 120, 130. This is exceptional, honestly, at a market which is at 262 today. And very positive, very impressive company. Check it out. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Toronto.